And Representative Cindy Munson's going to have Thanksgiving with me. And then my sister's family, so it'll be fun. Yeah. Where are you going?
Are we ready? Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. We'll have roll call. Sheriff?
Present.
Heimer for David Hooten.
Carrie Bloomert.
Brian Mon.
Kevin Galvey present.
Butch Freeman, for Butch Freeman.
Larry Stein for Butch Freeman.
All right. Except for that, for the purposes of this agenda, it was properly posted on November 16th, and our prayer or our pledge will be led by Larry Stein. Attention, salute. Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 21st?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we have one correction Kelly's going to point out to us on the consent docket.
On item 54, the amount on the agenda is $284,232.89. That really should be $152,132.09. That other amount was the account balance, not the amount of the total transfer.
Is there a motion to approve with that correction?
So moved.
Second.
Any other individual consideration? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then Mr. Danny.
All right, good morning.
Get the PowerPoint or the monthly report?
Let's do the PowerPoint this time. All right, the first slide is the general fund budgets for each department. And I always highlight the reserve amount. We got 3.1 million in reserve. And just as a note, and Cody will touch on this a little bit, but there's a watch list the BT has, which has a total of, coincidentally, 3.1 million on the watch list. So
What a coincidence.
purely coincidence. A couple slides over is our general fund. We have a balance of 1.9 million at the end of October. That's the lowest balance we have at this point of the year. We've collected 8 million in revenue. We spend almost $8 million a month. So you can see this, that's the reason we have to transfer money in from other funds until we start collecting our tax in December. And then I just want to slide a couple more slides over to Employee Benefits Fund. This is the one that we are tracking really close. If you see the estimated column there, we estimate we'll end the year with a balance of about 234,000. That's pretty tight, but we're watching it every month, and John has just upped and let me know that we've got some more CARES money being reimbursed into the fund. That will help to the tune of, I think, about 800,000. So that, along with the reimbursements for CVS, that helps this fund, and we should be okay going the rest of the year. But that changes from month to month, so we'll keep a close eye on that. And the very next slide is just our claims, medical and prescription compared to the same time last year. We were net down. When you factor in the CARES reimbursements, the stop loss reimbursements, rebates, we're down about 10% net compared to last year. So it's tracking good, but it's pretty tight. And we do have the 1.6 million on the watch list for BET for this Employee Benefits Fund if it does trend upward.
Just to define, or just to be sure, when you say we're down 10%, in other words, we're 10% below where we were at this point last year, which is a very good thing.
At the same point in time, yes, sir. That's all I have.
Okay, is there a motion to receive his report?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Cody?
Morning, everyone. As Danny had mentioned, the watch list right now is sitting at just over $3.1 million. Had one new item added at our most recent meeting. Juvenile Bureau has looked at the salaries of their employees, and we're looking at potentially making a recommendation in the near future. For now, we put it on the watch list. That amount is $346,376.28. Now that's for 6 months, so we're anticipating maybe a recommendation coming sometime for the either December or January budget board meeting. Other than that, the watch list is still pretty static. Danny mentioned that we do have $1.6 million on here for employee benefits in case that 227 isn't enough to get through the end of the year. But that's all I have on the watch list. Items 64 through 67 are BET recommendations, so I'll be happy to address any or all of those when you get to those items.
Any questions of Cody?
I have one quick question, and maybe this is just from your memory. What item has been on this list the longest?
Well, it's a new list at the beginning
Okay.
of the fiscal year. Most all of these, other than that Juvenile Bureau, if memory serves correct, these were all dumped in at the same time. They were items that were requested in budgets for this fiscal year that we didn't recommend funding immediately or at the September supplement, and then we just added those onto this list. So some of these items might go away, and we might, of course, have additional items added
Okay.
later.
Other questions? Is there a motion to receive the report?
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
John?
Good morning. Danny touched on the financial side of the health plan. The good news is we're net $878,000 under where we were. We're gonna get another $890,000 back in the plan next month. That'll bring us about $1.6 million under where we were last fiscal year. If you look back on utilization, our COVID claims started running up in December last year. That's when they started ramping up. We're at the tail end of that now. So we're just processing all the big inpatient claims. Those are dropping all off. So as we go into the rest of the fiscal year, we're going to be bouncing against last fiscal year where we had it ramping up for COVID claims. So I really expect us to have plenty of cash to make it through the end of the year. Plenty of cash. We're also receiving way more rebate checks from our prescription plan than we did last fiscal year. They changed the rules about when we receive those. So we've received a bunch of money up front already this year. We're going to receive a check every quarter this year going forward. So we're going to have about $1.2 million extra of prescription rebates to add in the plan as well. And we see those COVID claims dropping off. So I expect the rest of the fiscal year not to need any money unless something big happens, unless we have another unknown event. But as far as utilization's going, everything's going great. The plan is doing great. Again, we're going to have another $890,000 to add back in next month. And then for the rest of the fiscal year, we'll have about $1.2 million in prescription rebates. So the plan should have plenty of cash.
I always like your presentation far better than I do Danny's.
Well, yeah, Danny does a
agree,
great
me
job
too.
looking at the numbers because he can see what's going on with the numbers, but the numbers speak only half the part of the whole story. The utilization is what speaks. That's what drives the numbers. So we can see that COVID claims are dropping way off, and we're bouncing against that from last fiscal year. So everything's looking a lot better.
Is there a motion to receive his report?
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Stein?
Item, is it 59?
9.
Thank you. I'm having trouble with negotiating this. We're doing some transferring to cover some expenses and would appreciate your support to approve that so we can keep our budget in line.
To stay within the 90%. rule.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I move approval 59.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ms. Bloomer?
This is our final, District 1's final amount being taken from the Highway Cash Fund Turnpike Corridor. If you all remember, this is the money that OTA gave to Oklahoma County to help pay for some of the damage caused by the turnpike construction on our county roads. So I believe this will be the final amount that District 1 pulls out from that fund.
Did they do a real job on it? I mean, did they really mess it up pretty bad?
Yes. And they gave us what, Joe, 1.8 million? So they gave the county 1.8 million and we split that up between D1 and D2 based on how many how many roads we wanted to fix, but we anticipate, and maybe is Brian Jasper here, we anticipate we really should have been reimbursed a lot more than 1.8 million.
Much more.
But that was what they agreed to give us.
That was even before the inflation we've suffered
Yes.
this year.
So
Any other questions?
We can't sue them, can we?
Sure we
For
can.
damages?
that's a good question. Maybe we should ask our council. I'll move the item on item 60.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Danny?
This is just a transfer to stay within 90% in our capital account.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chantel?
Just along the same lines, we needed a little bit more money in our operations account in order to get a few supplies for our office. And this transfer is just to keep us within the 90% rule.
Move approval.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item?
Just short and sweet update. We had a November 1 statute change that's pretty significant. Doesn't happen very often, but our bid threshold increased. You all are probably familiar that it has been $15,000 for a long time. It has increased to $25,000 per department. So we have that information. We've been through a lot of training on that in our office, and we'll work with each department as that comes up just to discuss your purchases and how it applies to the bidding thresholds. P-card is going great. We've had 3 purchases so far in 2 different months. In the online bidding program, we've had 3 online bids, and those were all successful. And that's all I have.
All right. Is there a-
Chantel continues to do a good job for the entire county and for the entire budget board. I think the leadership provided by the budget board is probably the key.
Yeah, that would be
That's
from which
just me.
officer? Yeah.
Is there a motion to receive her report
I'll
Motion
move.
received.
I'll second.
and disregard the treasurer's?
Strike.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Cody.
All right, item 64 is a request for reimbursement of our employee benefits account for the amount of $449,423.99. This would come from our CARES account, as these are COVID-related medical expenses that the Employee Benefits Fund has encountered.
Is there a motion?
Can you remind us how much money is left in our CARES account?
After this 449, it's just north of 2.2 million.
Okay.
Is that your recollection, Danny?
2.3.
I said just north of 2.2. That is north. I'm going by the Price is Right rules. I don't want to be over.
I'll move to approve item 64.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item?
Okay, 65, 66, and 67 are all related items. These are all expenses that are being requested to be reimbursed from the CARES account to juvenile. They're for the same items. They're all one-time use utensils. They were purchased on different POs, thus the request in 3 separate agenda items. Item 65 is $2,793.60 for the one-use eating utensils. 66 is for $179.80, and then 67 is $12,408.
I'll move all 3 items.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before Cody gets away from there, we've talked, and we'll say there's $2,250,000 in there. We're coming up on a deadline, are we not?
We are?
And that deadline is the end of next month, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that deadline, what is the debt? We must have it at least obligated, have bills against it?
It has to be, yes. I'll say yes.
Okay.
One of those.
Do we have plans? Are there needs out there that we're working on now to satisfied with that 2 million plus?
I think, DA, are we getting off? I couldn't tell with your face mask adjustments. Okay. Take it up with Aaron.
Okay.
So
So-
maybe at our next meeting, we do need to have a discussion about how we're going to spend the rest of the money.
We really need to do it. And again, we got until December 31st and then we'll just blame the DA because he wouldn't let us talk about it. Right, Aaron?
We will be happy to have those conversations.
Well, and seriously,
And we have been.
I mean, this is obviously something that's worth having a special meeting if required. I'm not one to want to spend the money just because we got it out there. But I am one, if we got legitimate reasons that can be satisfied with this CARES Act, that's what it's for.
Yes,
And I just, again, time is coming. We're down now just a little over a month, and it's that simple, and then it's gone.
Cody, when's your next BET?
It'll be is it the 9th? Yeah, early December, but we can have a special meeting if necessary. We have been having these conversations about some ideas, so I'll have Ms. Henley send out an email checking everybody's schedules. It's kind of tight now with holidays coming up. I don't know what everybody's schedule's like, and I want to make sure that everybody's able to be there to have those discussions. But yeah, we can have a special one if necessary.
Any citizens to be heard before the budget board? Seeing none, board comment, Sheriff?
No comment.
Clerk?
Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
Clerk? Commissioner?
I just wanted to publicly thank, we have several folks from the sheriff's office here. I want to thank you, Sheriff Johnson, and all the rest of you for, providing security here and doing just a fantastic job. Thank you.
I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, my absolute favorite holiday of the year. That's because I get to eat all I want, as long as I want. Taxes. God, it's been a challenging year. The first set of the taxes hit the mail today. So it's thrown us behind already as far as from a cash perspective of what we normally plan to put into the general fund out of this year's collections at the end of November. But this too shall pass and we'll get there. We had a lot of problems on trying to get everything set up. So basically to read the OCR line, because we got to be able to do that. And anyway, tax bills, first set are out today. Probably going to take 3 to 4 days because there are so many of them. They have to drop them in batches, but they are finally in the mail.
Way to buzzkill Thanksgiving.
I just want to thank the budget board and everybody else that was involved in the Veterans Days. Commissioner Bloomert and I were put together in the Midwest City Parade, and we had a good time, and it was wonderful. And I want to talk about transparency. I mean, I don't know any other entity that sits around and discusses on an agenda item reimbursement of $179.80. But it shows you the kind of transparency we have in this building and the budget and process and all of BET and everything else, and I appreciate them very much.
And under my comments, I will say I do know there are a couple of looming items that are high ticket that are being reviewed by the DA for whether they're appropriate. So I think that we're not flat-footed.
Excellent.
Providing it can be legally blessed, of course. Okay, any new business? I would wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh,
Second.
real quick. Happy birthday to Christy today. Christy is 60, what?
She's 39.
It's her birthday.
39 and whole.
Happy birthday.